Well, welcome to the first YouTube video. In this series, I'm going to essentially show you what I consider one of my favorite betting strategies. I'm going to show you real wins and losses, track the stats, track the history for 365 days in a row, and to tell you, you could see if you follow along in the journey how I end up doing. Do I win? Do I lose? Do I not? So let me kind of start by explaining the strategy. As you can see here, we started out with two bets right off the bat. My theory is we don't get many of these runs, 7 in a row of one color. So what I do is I wait till there's 2 in a row, and then on that third run, I bet the opposite in a bit of a martingale strategy. So 10, 25, 60, 120, and 250. My theory is that the 7 in a row does not happen very often. And it happens so rare, I'm hoping, that my series of 10, 15, 25, $30 wins will accumulate enough to offset the rare times that you get the 7 in a row. So we'll see if it works. Obviously, stick along with me. To fill the space, though, I'm going to tell you some of my life lessons. I mean, I'm 40. I've had 4 kids, tried to start 2 businesses. I've had a lot of good things happen to me in life. I've had some tough things. I feel like I've learned a lot. I'm going to, I don't know, tell stories along the way. Feel free to mute me if you just want to watch the outcome of this, see how we do. And so I live in the United States, and they've legalized online casinos in I think 5 states as of when I'm making this. I live in Ohio. They did not do it in Ohio, which is why, as you can see here, I'm using Bet Online. They claim this is live roulette. It gives the impression that it is. It has like a nice clock here and all that. I sometimes wonder if these people are AI generated. All right, so as you can see here, lost the $10 bet, so let's jump to 25. So again, I waited till there were 2 in a row, and I bet the opposite color. I'm going to bet the opposite color again. So obviously now I'm betting black. Before I was betting red. I think I started at 1740. You'll see the stats on the screen. And the other stats I'm going to keep up is a running track record of the percent of time that we get runs of, say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and more. Because you think about the probability. Now, of course, anybody smart, I understand the house is going to have the edge no matter what. I try and help myself as much as humanly possible by first playing European roulette. Anybody who has online should never play American roulette, because why give yourself less of an edge when there's only 1 0 versus 2? There's one less hole it could fall into to screw over the reds and black bettors here. All right, now we got 2 blacks in a row. So according to my strategy, I'm going to bet red here for $10. Some things I've observed, it's been interesting. So I occasionally go to real life casinos, and I'll find the roulette section. I never bet the table roulette because it's kind of awkward to fill a seat and sit out. So like there's many times, many spins that I'll just sit out. I won't bet until I get my setup, which is 2 colors in a row, and then I'll start my betting scheme. And doing that too many times in a row, you start to get looks if you just don't bet. They don't like that. So a lot of times these casinos have like those kind of semi-automated deals. If you've ever been to a casino, you've probably seen it, and I enjoy that. But it's always interesting to observe the people around me there, and especially like you see it really prominently when you go to like the actual live tables. And I'd sit down and I'd bet my red or black strategy. And obviously there's a couple other people that would occasionally bet the odds, the evens, the red, the blacks, whatever the story may be. But what always blows my mind are the people that just wing it on numbers. They just seem to just throw all kinds of stacks in no particular theme or order on various numbers. And I feel like almost like clockwork, they lose the fastest, because really at a casino, the name of the game is to lose as slow as humanly possible. And I think the other really important thing is play in short spurts. Um, that's really my key here is I love to play 20, 30, 40 minutes at a time. I don't push my luck. All right, 2 reds in a row. Look at that. Really getting a chance to showcase the system here. So now I bet black on 10 bucks. But when I see these people kind of spraying and praying, a lot of times they go on tilt. And if you've never heard that term, going on tilt really means they kind of lose their mind and get highly emotional and just bet like crazy. And it really gets bad when you start pulling money out. Like maybe you come with a budget and then you have a real bad beat and you get really upset. So you go back, pull some more money out of the ATM. That rarely ever ends well. And one thing I would say is I would like to believe I have no tilt, but you'll be able to see if you follow along. For me, I just keep betting the same system. If I do happen to get a string of 7 in a row, like kind of what we see here, my theory is I'm either done for the day or I start over again. I wait till the string breaks and then I wait for my setup and I start again on the start of it and bet for my either allotted time or allotted budget. So, all right, we pushing it here. Let's bet black now $60. So again, the first bet was 10, then 25. Now I'm at 60. So if I win this one, it'd be $60 minus 25 minus 10, or about $25 net. And that's the other key too, is if I win the first bet of 10 bucks, I win 10 bucks. If I win the next bet of 25, I would net 15. Oh, there we go. All right, getting a sweat right away here. So that would have been $25 wins. So now we bet 120. So 120 minus 60 minus 35 is again a $25 winner. And then the last bet would be 250. So we're getting a fast sweat here. See if we get blown out right away in the first video early on. It's the big one. Come on, black. Or non-green. That red again. Woo-wee. All right. Going all in. 250. Let's see how we do. That is 6 in a row. If we have 7 in a row, that would be 2 7 in a rows on the same screen. And that's certainly more than the roughly 1% of time it's supposed to happen. So let's see. Come on, black. Maybe our AI generated guy is, hey, saved. Saved on the last one. So, yeah, that's kind of the, you got to see the full spectrum. Didn't expect it to happen so soon in the video. You got to see it go all the way up to 250 bucks, a fast sweat here. So now, obviously I sit and wait for a second black. And if I get that, I start over again with 10 bucks on the red. And like I said, just follow along. I'm going to do this every day for 365 days, and we'll see how the end of the year results. If every time I get to the $250 bet and it's wrong, or I lose, I guess, I'll just stop and restart. And I will track the stats all along so you could see for better, worse, ugly, or win, how we do. So, it's interesting. I have my 40th birthday in a month and 2 days here, and trying to figure out if I'm going through a midlife crisis. And I feel like there are aspects where that's a yes, where I feel a little more kind of rebellious. And something to note, so we got 2 reds, so I'm going to bet 10 bucks on the black. I got 4 girls, but we started having our kids when I was 24, like early 24. And so we started young, not on purpose. None of our kids were planned. I guess one was technically planned. But we also had 4 kids in 5 years, 5.5 years. So my wife was pretty much in a constant state of pregnancy for a period of time or breastfeeding. And yeah, that was a tough little stretch there. All right, lost that one. So let's bet 25 on black. Um, and what's interesting now that I'm turning 40 is my oldest kid is 15, almost 16. And my youngest kid is 10. So I guess the positives of that is my youngest kid, when they're 18, I'll be 48. So theoretically, we'll be empty nesters before the age of 50, which is nice. Man, another red. Look at these sweats. Really jumping up here. All right, going 60. And I sometimes wonder if having kids early versus having kids late, I feel like I hear that conversation often. I feel like so many people these days in society want to have kids later. And I totally understand, because when we were up to our eyeballs with little kids, babies, wiping butt and throwing away diapers and all the fun stuff of having little babies, there were friends. Hey, good job. There were friends that were definitely traveling the world, having fun. And I feel like now you see on YouTube all these young couples who travel all the time. It's easy to kind of just say, man, that would be a nice life. Why don't we get out and do that and delay having kids? And so many of those friends who ended up having kids later in life really struggled health-wise to have kids. So now that I'm 40 and reflecting back on life, it's so interesting, because so many of my friends from growing up years who are also 40 have kids, if they have them, like sub 7 years old. A lot of them still have like really young kids. And a lot of them have struggled. They've had to do IVF just to get pregnant. My wife has a theory that birth control was so prominent. I was born in 1985, so birth control was so prominent. Back then, when girls were teenagers, I didn't have a sister, so I didn't realize this, but I guess birth control was that prominent that everybody was taking it, and then a lot of them just kept taking it every single month for all the way up until they were ready to get pregnant, and maybe that was age 30, so anywhere from 10 to 14 years of straight birth control every month, and that just can't be good on your body. So I don't know. Obviously, definitely not a doctor. Don't take that as medical advice. But just pure anecdotes have kind of showed us that either waiting longer or what, I don't, birth control, blame it on whatever you want. It seems like, again, anecdotally, that people who wait till their mid-30s to have kids can struggle. It's really unfortunate. I don't know the right answer. Obviously, it's all individual. My brother didn't have his first kid until he was 38. Or 39. That was when he had his first kid. So his kid is now like 4 years old. And they were fortunate, very healthy kid. I'm extremely blessed in life. I think that's probably the biggest kind of reality when you turn 40, is you just realize how fragile life is. And if you've been able to skirt by without any major problems, hey, finally getting back to betting. If you've been able to skirt by without any major problems, you just feel like you're winning the lottery. And you almost like, sometimes I just dread, like, what is it? Like, what's on my plate for what could come? And I think one thing that scares me a little bit is my oldest daughter at 15, is almost 16, is, driving. And it's interesting because obviously my biggest fear in life, like any parent, is what if she gets in a crash that's bad enough to like seriously hurt her, or even worse, Lord help us. And then I try to like psych myself out by saying, the odds are so slim of that happening. Like, there's really, you kind of almost have to just believe that, like, you know what? in a given year, there's millions of 16-year-olds. And it's not like the news is posting every week of some kid getting in a major crash. Obviously, crashes happen, but I do sometimes think kids are better drivers than what a parent kind of assumes. But yeah, I feel like now that I'm about to turn 40, it also has given me a renewed kind of focus on my own health. Again, going with the theme of how fragile life is and how precious our time is on this earth. My mom just turned 70, and it's interesting too when you get to 40 because you were a young kid not that long ago, and you feel like, hey, I've seen my grandparents, but suddenly you turn 40 and now your parents look like your grandparents did. And it's a real shocker. It makes you really kind of take a step back and like I see my dad's just whole complexion and his how he walks and kind of has like the grandpa skin. And I mean, it obviously 72 going on 73 years old, like that's the logical next step at that age is to have that look. And he's doing great trying to like stay healthy and stuff. But yeah, it's a bit shocking sometimes to see your parents get older because it's a reflection on how quick life's moving and how we're all getting older. Yeah, as you could tell, this is kind of reflections on life and family, raising kids, businesses. I'll get to all that stuff. I have lots to share and just kind of an open book. If you ever have questions, leave them in the comments and I'll try and answer them as we go here. And because I feel like there's too often nobody really talks about this stuff at a deeper level. We all go through these things, and yet it seems like online it's either perfect lives or misery, and rarely in between. So I'm going to try and see if I can thread the needle on just talking about life and the in-betweens and stuff like that. You know, as we get down the last few minutes of this first video, another thing that was really interesting is I had a neighbor who we kind of knew their marriage was a little rocky. The husband had lost his job. He was in mortgage lending he lost his job during early COVID, and we weren't super close with them, so I never really followed up, but we kind of heard through the grapevine that he never really was able to find a job and really struggled to find one. And yeah, out of nowhere, and I guess not out of nowhere it was out of nowhere for us. He suddenly, or his wife, just moved out today. We saw 2 moving trucks there, and we're like, oh, that's interesting. Maybe they're moving as a family. And no, the wife moved out, and just made me realize that it's really kind of sad when you see a marriage break up and you know how just so emotionally painful that is. They have kids. They're old, or their youngest kid is my oldest kid's age. So they have 4 kids, and I think one's in college, a couple in high school. And back to a sweat again. All right. Got to focus here. We'll make this the last string. So we're either ending with a bang on the good side or a bang on the bad side. Come on, Black. All right, man. Make that the good spin. He's always smiling. What a soul-sucking job. Just to stare. I kind of wonder is it just a bunch of cameras? Heyo, Black. All right. Well, definitely subscribe. Check out my journey. See how we go. I appreciate you watching. And yeah, till next time, take care.